Hello, my name's Dave Bedford and welcome to Liddypool, the podcast. Following the successful launch of my book, Liddypool, Birthplace of the Beatles, I have decided to podcast some of the interviews I carried out during the research for my book. To start the series, here is the first part of my interview with Julia Baird, half-sister to John Lennon.
What right you got to say that?
We know nothing about the brain.
Exactly.
The more we know, the more we know. God.
Exactly,
right.
yeah.
And there's these scientists saying, impossible to woman after man after, saying what they remembered for far, far back. You do not remember that. Well, this is the world we live in, isn't it? And then she'd had me with all the problems, with Pop screaming at her, going over to Nanny saying, I'm going to live here now. Yeah. She's pregnant,
yes.
You know. The horrors that my mother had to live through. And then moving house.
Of course.
Pop dying.
Yeah.
Having to move house, my father having to find a house. The actual physical move, which my parents did, I remember watching them, and I was carrying things in and out as well. I was little. They physically moved that house themselves, the beds, they did everything themselves. And the baby was due at Christmas, and the stress.
I'm sure.
I'm not surprised.
No,
He was born in October.
Not surprised at all. Because so much for being stress-free and everything through pregnancy. I mean, you've got all that going on.
Yeah.
It's a lot. Again, it's interesting because you talked about Victoria,
yes.
Ingrid, and that you did actually get to meet her up at Mendips, wasn't it?
Yes, it was strange. She turned up. Stan and I were up the ladder putting up the blue heritage plaque. It was a really nice day. And Stan turned round and he sort of went like this, and we were concerned that he would fall and stuff like that. And but we wanted him to do it. And he said, I think I can see Ingrid. And I went, what? He said, I think I can see Ingrid. Where? So when we got down the ladder, we sort of went out of the gate and went up, and she was up the road with a friend she brought with her. And of course the first thing I did was, John and I look alike, even though we're half brother and sister. Obviously my mother's family have green or brown eyes. My mother brown eyes, my father brown eyes. I don't know about Alf actually. I don't know if he had. I really don't know. I mean, obviously John looks like Alf as well. You can see.
Oh yes.
But a red-headed family. You know, very strong genes. So even though Jackie and I look identical, people think we're twins.
Definitely.
We also look very like John.
Yeah.
Although, obviously, we had a different father. Jackie and I have got the same father.
Yeah.
So I thoroughly and absolutely expected Ingrid to look the same as me. And John.
Yeah.
And Jackie. But she looks nothing like us. She's got blue eyes, pale blue eyes, and fair hair. So I was sort of scrutinising her straight off. And I was in a state of shock, thinking, she doesn't look like me, she doesn't look like Jackie. It was a shock.
Yeah.
She doesn't look like John.
Because I suppose you built a mental image as well.
Of course I have, because of the halfness of John and I and Jackie and I.
Yeah.
And yet we look the same.
Yeah. And that's the strong gene that's through the three of you, so.
Yeah. So, obviously Ingrid must favour her father more.
But it's unusual, the three of you.
Yes.
And also got that strong
Whereas
gene.
our father, my father, was very dark.
Right, yeah. So my wife's a redhead. I've got 3 girls, 2 redheads out of that. And it's strong through the family.
Gene.
Yeah. How did you feel? Because that was, wasn't it the interviewer? Somebody interviewed and said about there being the 4 children.
That was
the shock.
Yeah, that was Bill Smithies from the Liverpool Echo.
Yeah, that's right.
He was the features editor then. And I was trying to set the story straight, and he came over to see me in Chester. And within, I don't know, a very short time, he said about the 4 children. I looked at him. I said, you don't know, do you? I said, no. What are you talking about? Are you saying there are 4 of us? He said, Julia, your mother had 4 children. He said, I can see you don't know. He said, I'm going. He was a lovely man.
Yeah.
I'm going. He said, here's my number. Ring me as soon as you're ready. Well, he was hardly out of the house. And I had the older children came home from school on their own, but the little fellow I picked him up. I thought, have I got time? I raced down to Rock Ferry. And I had to do 3 visits before Nanny would go. I said, Nanny, I'm going to come again and again and again until you tell me. I said, I've been told by a complete stranger.
And that seems to be the way the family ran, really, wasn't it?
Bloody hell, they didn't tell you anything. As I said, even if it was going to change your whole life, it was none of your business.
Well, it's like, I mean, that's...
And you didn't dare ask.
No.
And I'm tired of people saying, oh, that's how things were in those days. It isn't.
Rubbish.
It's how some people are at any time.
Yes. I mean, like, parents can be secretive about some things, but we're talking major things. I mean, it's the horrendous way you were treated after your mum was killed. I mean, that's...
Yeah. It's outrageous.
Yeah.
It's child abuse. It's nothing short of child abuse.
Yeah. Yeah, completely. My wife's studying Open University doing foundation years, thinking about children and stuff.
Yeah. How important it is.
And every child matters and everything that's coming through now. And I was just recounting the story. And whatever century you're in, that is... Yeah,
and the family included, they fob me off with. They're annoyed that I've done it. And it's... that's how it was in those days. It wasn't.
No. You can't justify that in any
well,
age.
that is their justification.
I suppose that's trying to justify it to themselves, not to you.
What about me and Jackie?
Yeah, exactly.
Are we not allowed to have an opinion about the way we were treated? Are we just sort of to say, yes, that is how people were treated? It's not how all people were treated.
No. And how long did they plan to keep it going for?
Ever.
Again, it could be one of those opportunist things, as you say. Could be without thinking through the full implications.
Well, we came back to Liverpool in the beginning of September, the first week in September. So we'd been away from the 16th of July. My mother died on the 15th. So how long is that? Do you know in my head, you know when I say I've got a long and good memory, I make that 4 weeks, 5 weeks, 7 weeks, 9 weeks, because I can't cope with it. I can't cope with the whole idea of it. So 2 weeks in July, 5 weeks in August, that's 7, 8 weeks. And we got back and they still didn't tell us.
I know.
Another 2 weeks and we still, so were we not to ever
exactly. I mean,
mention our mother again?
How could they do it? Because it was
I
normal.
think they were mad.
Yeah.
They were bloody mad for a start if they thought we were never going to say anything.
Exactly. They haven't thought it through.
Well, they didn't think, did they?
No. And they certainly didn't think about you.
Empty-headed nitwits. They're empty-headed, as far as I'm concerned.
I mean, the whole family, you pick it up in different books, and you get the idea of Mimi being the controller, but it's just like a conspiracy between them all. You're not part of the family.
Exactly.
You're not
we
included.
heard that forever. If they were alive, we'd be hearing it now.
It's just an abhorrent thought.
Yeah, it is.
Being treated like that.
It is.
And it must have affected you and Jackie.
Well, it does.
Through your life.
It still affects them.
It will do. And again, they wouldn't even have thought that far through the process.
Didn't care.
No.
And that's the truth. They didn't care.
It's heartless.
It was a duty to look after us. It was a duty. There was talk of an orphanage, but my father went ballistic. My father kept us the whole time. Don't know what the agreement was. But he didn't only keep us, he kept the family that we were in. He bought the beds, the washing machines, the carpet, bought the school shoes, paid endlessly. I mean, as he should have done.
Oh, yes.
But he was never a father that decided not to pay. He paid.
Yeah.
And he overpaid it. You can't overpay. That is wrong, don't say that.
But no, I know what you mean.
He paid, there was money going in the house all the time from my father.
Because it's when you said that you made wards of court
to
the sisters.
We didn't know anything about it. When I was 21 and I went home, I just got thrust this letter that had already been opened, and I looked and I said, what's this? I'll go down to this place in Water Street, they'll explain it to you. So I did go down and I said, what's this? And my mother had an insurance policy from somebody, who comes door to door.
Yes, yeah.
And she was giving him, I'm guessing here, 1 and 6, 2 and 6 a week, whatever one would do in those days. And when she died, it was £300. and it was divided equally between her 3 children. So John got £100. He got it almost straight away. Oh no, he wouldn't have done. He got it when he was 21. He got £100. When I was 21, I went with this letter, and they gave me £200. I didn't even know about it. And Jackie got a lot more. I think she got £320 because it was obviously
interest.
Yeah. And I just said, what is this about the ward of court? I don't know what you're talking about. And they said, well, you're not a ward of court anymore. Sign this, and you're not a ward of court anymore. I said, what does it mean? It said it means that your uncle and aunt became your guardians. Well, my father was keeping us.
Yeah.
We knew nothing about it.
And in some ways it's another way of the childhood you did have. They've grabbed another little bit back because you weren't told about it. It's something else you know, I think.
Yeah. And when we had our school reports, my uncle always signed them. When the father could have done it.
Yeah.
And he put in brackets guardian, I think. He'd done that. You know, you're raging inside, but you daren't ask the questions.
Of course. And again, one of the things certainly comes through in here, I really feel for your dad.
Oh, so do I. He was weak in the face of all that opposition. I said he was caught in the teeth of the tigresses, and there was no escape for him. None.
Oh God. That really comes through. The way he was treated. Is sort of.
But because they weren't married, you see.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas, well, it's a nonsense, certainly in today's society anyway, but even if you look at common law.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a family unit there.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
And how anybody's got the right?
Well, they didn't have the right. They were just like bulldozers.
They assumed the right, didn't they?
Yeah.
And, you know, it wasn't just like you'd lost your mum. Did they then take you away from your dad?
Yeah, exactly. And our grandmother.
Yeah.
Who was too common to be allowed to visit.
Well, I hope you enjoyed listening to Julia. The second half of the interview will be podcasted soon. That's all for now. This is Dave Bedford on Liddypool. For more information, go to www.liddypool.com or look for Liddypool on Facebook. Hope to see you again soon.